So I follow a lot of pages that talk about current happenings. They talk about dating, topics like masculinity, family dynamics, because those things are ever changing and they're changing rapidly in today's society. It's unfortunate, really is unfortunate, but we're living in a time period where men are being emasculated. And it's happening on all fronts. It's happening physically through the food, it's happening through the air, through the water, EMF waves. That's another form of pollution that everybody has to deal with. Microplastics, right? We keep hearing about these things. We also hear about these studies proving that the 20-year-old men today have, I think, less than half of the testosterone as their grandfathers did. So you take a 20-year-old today, test their hormone levels, compare it to their grandfather in his 50s or 60s, they basically will have the testosterone levels of an old man today. And when you think about how extreme that is, it's crazy because when you're 20 years old as a young man, you're supposed to be in peak condition. Now we know a lot of factors come into play, sedentary lifestyle, horrible diet, playing video games all day, jacking off all day. That's another one. That's another one that's emasculating men is adult content. Oh my gosh, it's a freaking battle just to get on Instagram. And I'm constantly having to press not interested on reels that are just hypersexualized women looking for attention, monetizing their sexuality basically. And it's crazy because men are also the reason, men are partially the reason this is happening. They're allowing this to happen because it seems like people are just so complacent. People are so complacent with their diet. They just keep going to the same stores and they paying these same companies to buy the same food. And if people actually voted with their money and stopped paying these corporations, these mega corporations who are poisoning the food supply, if you'd stop giving them your money, we could all have power in numbers and change something. But because people, it seems like we're addicted. We're addicted to the technology. We're addicted to the food. We're addicted to the dopamine rushes, right? Constant dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. Where in previous generations, before technology is where it is now, we had to go do something. We had to go build something. We had to go work the land. We had to go build a business. We had to go build a family. And that dopamine was more of a natural, organic process where we get the dopamine hit after toiling, right? After toiling away at the land and then harvesting and then, having livestock and taking care of your farm and stuff. And the dopamine would come from sustenance. It would come from providing for your family. It would come from freedom, not having to rely on a grocery store chain or not having to rely on pharmaceuticals. Men are being emasculated in every which way possible. And it's time that we really hunker down. All the men out there, we got to hunker down. We got to practice some discipline because these women are using sex against you. Sex has been weaponized. And I think it's pretty obvious at this point, right? So they say sex sells, right? But it's been weaponized to the point where men are, for example, with adult content, are spilling their seed constantly. And do you know what that does to a man's body? It reduces his vitality. It weakens him. One could make the argument that the main purpose that we humans are on this planet is to reproduce. And that's not happening right now. Birth rates are dropping. The reason you hear so much about immigration is because they have to replace the citizens with somebody if people are not having babies. They need tax revenue. They need workers for the jobs that Americans no longer want to do because everybody wants to be a YouTuber or an influencer or a famous person. I want to be famous. So, I mean, realistically, yeah, they're bringing all these immigrants in because they need to keep the system propped up. It's collapsing. It's pretty obvious, right? Just look at the economy right now. If you're really paying attention, things are changing rapidly. And, shout out to the new administration. They seem like they're pro crypto, and I own crypto and stuff. So hopefully we can hope for the best, right? We can hope for the best, even though I think all the politicians it's all political theater. They're all sellouts, all of them. And they're just playing their role. And it's the left-right paradigm, and they're keeping people locked into the left-right paradigm so that you're constantly looking at the other side and pointing fingers and judging and saying, look at the Democrats, look at the liberals, and the liberals are looking at the Republicans and saying, see them, they're racist, they're this, they're that. And it's just a constant pendulum swing. That's how they keep the machine fed. Meanwhile, they're making changes behind our backs, to the money supply, to the food supply, to pharmaceuticals, mandating things that people don't necessarily want or need, but they're going to say you have to if you want to work or if you want to purchase and sell. And this is biblical. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, it's biblical. It's almost like they're following the script too, which is kind of weird. That's another topic. But anyways, I just wanted to rant about this because nowadays I feel like women have become men's enemy. And that is so backwards, and it doesn't have to be that way. I think if men truly stood up to the plate and became who they were supposed to be and stopped putting women on a pedestal and stopped worshiping pussy and stopped jacking off all the time and being slaves to their pleasure centers in their brain like animals. And the same could be said for eating food, people who become overweight. It's the same thing. It's just like this, it's a primal need to have to eat to sustain our body. But then at a certain point, it becomes just gluttony, right? And the same could be said for anything else out of balance. And we are so out of balance as a nation right now, and as a planet. But I'm kind of ranting on other things. I just want to inspire any guys out there to take your power back. Stop worshiping women, because the minute you worship women, you lose all your power. And it's kind of weird because like a woman will want you in a relationship to be more in touch with your emotions. And the minute they can get you to do that, you as a man have lost all your power. And that's why I've been single since high school. I'm 34 years old. I'll be 35 this year. And I've been single since high school. I had one serious relationship, that if you could call it that, but it wasn't even really serious. It was puppy love, right? That's what they call puppy love. You're so naive and stupid. You think you're in love. And because I was so chaotic back then, I was a mess. I had a lot of things that I needed to work through and overcome. I latched onto that first relationship and I thought I was in love. And maybe it could have worked out, because I think when you're that young, you should get married right away. You should get married right away. You should have kids. You should do all that in your 20s so that your kids can help you later on in life. Not that they have to, not that they're obligated to, but it just makes sense. Build a family. But nowadays we are in a period where people are not building families, and especially the young people. And I'm the same way. When I was in my 20s, I was like, I don't want kids. I want to go have fun, right? I want to go get famous, right? And now that I'm older, I've grown and matured so much. I'm like, man, I didn't even really want all that stuff. If I could go back in time and find a good wife and just start a family, and I know it's woulda, coulda, shoulda, we got to live in right now in this reality and not think of some imaginary la la land where what if I did this or what if I did that. But there's also a side where you can be introspective and say, man, my actions led to this. And people were telling me not to do this and not to do this. And even now, like I had people telling me, no, you're too young to get married. You don't love her. You don't love her. And I was like, I do love her. I do love her. I want to marry her. And whether that was true or not, I had people telling me not to get married and have kids. And even to this day, they're like, don't get married, don't have kids. And I get why. Women, social media, it's like, what's the point now anymore? Especially with the legal system, they could just take your stuff, and it's just a mess right now. So I get that part of it. But on a practical side of finding a wife and building a family, that should be the best thing ever. And people are telling you not to do that nowadays. So we're living in some chaotic times. And I just want to make this video to just talk about it and leave your thoughts down below. I want to inspire the men out there to become men. If you're whatever age group I'm speaking to right now, if you're in my age group, if you're younger than me, I hope I inspire the younger generations to stop chasing pussy. Go build businesses. Go build yourself. Find a hobby or find something that's going to be a skill that you can train, that you can work on every day, that you can educate yourself on, versus just going out and partying, trying to get some tail, trying to hit it, trying to rack up that roster, the body counts. It's really sad nowadays what we've been brainwashed into thinking is valuable. But, I had to learn the hard way. So I'm here to hopefully maybe inspire others, learn from my mistakes, and mainly speaking to the men right now, but also for the women. It's like, man, your purity is the prize. And people just give away their purity so young nowadays. And it's like, it's unfortunate, but it's the world we live in. So I don't think I have any much else to say in this video about this. I was just thinking about it earlier, and I wanted to start recording, and my iPhone ran out of storage while I was recording, so I had to redo it, but on a better camera. So if you guys got anything out of this video, comment below, subscribe, like. Appreciate all the people that are watching my videos or that have found me. My subscribers are slowly growing, but help a brother out here. You guys have a good day. Let me know what you want me to talk about. Peace.